Hello, hello, hello. I am the Linux Mensch. Today I'm going to talk about why I divorced the awesome window manager and why I'm getting married to Gnome. Or is it Gnome? Let's get to it. So today I'm in my real bare metal computer, actually my main production computer. I'm not in a virtual machine. First of all, I did a few videos about Gnome this year, and in one of the videos in the comments, these two people were debating, and it was a long debate about whether it's gnome or gnome. And I chimed in a little bit, and I said it was gnome because gnome is the correct way to spell that word in English. The G is silent. And then I watched a video the other day, and maybe it was a week or two ago, from the Gnome convention. And one of the women at the convention, she was talking on the video and she was pronouncing it Gnome. So perhaps that's the correct way. Now I looked on their website and I couldn't find anywhere on the website where it tells you what the correct pronunciation is. But normally in English, it's Gnome. The G is silent. But hey, she called it Gnome and she was at the Gnome convention, so she must know, right? Anyways, why did I switch? Uh, you know what? The awesome window manager is great. There's nothing wrong with it. It is truly the awesome window manager. It's awesome. But you know what? I got bored. I've been using Linux for over 4 years. And for 3 years, I've been living in the awesome window manager. And you know what? I got bored. I needed something new and different. Now, for the past 4 years that I've been using Linux, I've always hated GNOME. I tried playing with it lots of times for 5 or 10 minutes. I couldn't stand it. And I did a couple of videos about it in the past few months. I guess this year, I did a couple of videos about GNOME. And I thought, you know what? It's not bad. So, because of boredom, I started using GNOME a few weeks ago, and I really like it. So I'm going to show you how I'm using it, and some of it's going to be a repeat of the other videos I did on GNOME, but hey, what can I say? So if you want to change the wallpaper, it's really easy, and it's easy in most desktop environments. It's a little more complicated with window managers, right? So what I'm going to do is right click. And first of all, even before I go there, I like right here, if you click on this button, you have your volume, you have your microphone volume and your speaker volume. This will take you to settings. Also, you have your dark style here. Now, when you're using your own wallpaper, dark style and light style won't affect the wallpaper, but it will if you're using the default wallpapers that come installed with GNOME. So let's click on dark style. And also, another way, if you want to get to the settings, you can just right click it. You can get to change background, display settings, and all your settings. So let's go to change background. So if you're new to GNOME, you might not know this, but these wallpapers come with GNOME, or at least with GNOME. I'm in Arch Linux, by the way, pure Arch Linux. And these wallpapers came with it. And these are light and dark wallpapers, so they're affected by whether you're using light and dark. So for instance, let's click on this one. And let's go to another workspace. So this is what the wallpaper looks like when we're in dark mode. When we switch to light mode, it looks like that. And let's go back to the other workspace and let's click on this one. And let's go back to the other workspace. So this is what this wallpaper looks like in light mode. And if you turn on dark style, it looks like that. But like I said, if you're using your own wallpaper, that wallpaper won't be affected by dark and light style. But the dark and light style does affect all your menus. Now, when I first checked out GNOME years ago, I didn't like it because the bar was at top. on top. And because I came from Windows, I always like the bar on the bottom. So for instance, when I started using the awesome window manager, by default, the bar is on top. But I went into the configuration file, I learned how to manipulate it, and I changed it so that the bar would be on the bottom. In Qtile, the bar is always on the bottom by default, unless you move it. So like I said, and of course in Cinnamon desktop, the bar is on the bottom. So when I tried using Gnome years ago, I couldn't stand the bar on the top. I didn't like the way the menus worked, but now I really like it. It's kind of nice. If you want to go into your apps, you're going to click on this icon here, and you have a dock here. Now, all these apps don't come here by default. I put them there. So if you click on this little icon here, this grid icon, it's going to bring up all your apps. And you can scan and look at them. And if you want an app to be on the dock, you're just going to, you know what? Let's do calculator. You're going to hover over it, right click it, pin to dash, and now it's on the bottom. If you don't want it to be on the dock, you're going to right click it and unpin it. Easy peasy, really simple. And of course, go full page, the dock disappears. So it's not in your way, right? Now I have a thing here called apps. Now this is not there by default. You have to turn it on. Now you have to, well, in Arch Linux, when you install GNOME, it installs the full package. Now I don't know if it does that in Debian or other distributions, but it does in Arch Linux. So when you install GNOME in Arch Linux, you're going to have GNOME extensions installed, but you have to turn them on. So whatever you have pinned to this dock, it's going to show up in your favorites. So all these are automatically in favorites in this menu. Whatever is pinned to that dock, it's going to automatically be in the favorites in this menu. Whoops. Right here, okay? And then you have your accessories, education, graphics, internet. I have Firefox, I have Ramina, Office. I have the whole full LibreOffice suite because I installed it myself, right? It didn't come with GNOME. Oh, it didn't come with GNOME. I have the full Office suite. You have your video, sound and video stuff. So I really like this menu. And actually, I like this menu more. You have system tools. I have Vert Manager, HTOP. Let's click on HTOP. Now, of course, I'm running high for two reasons. Number one, I'm recording because this is not a virtual machine. This is my main production computer. So OBS is running, it's recording. And of course, GNOME runs higher than the window managers do. And it runs higher than some other desktop environments as well. So right now I'm running at 2 gigs, even though I'm in GNOME and I'm running OBS Studio is recording. So let's close that. So to get this app is not turned on. So what you would do to turn it on is you go here, click on this grid, click on extensions. Yeah, so when you first go into GNOME extensions, everything is going to be off. So the first thing you want to do is click this on, and then you have all these options. And I only use 2, so I clicked on this bottom one, which puts my workspacers there. Okay. And I click on this top one, apps menu, and that put that app menu there, which I really like. And then I close it. So I have this menu here. And I'm using this menu more than I'm using this one. Now, another thing that's nice about this one, though, is, if you don't like searching for stuff and you can't find an app and the app is installed, you can just go up to here and let's type in PCman FM. There it is. Let's open it. And there we go. We're in PCman FM. Now, if we go into settings, I like the settings because it's simple. There's not too many there. Now, some people don't like Gnome and they complain about it because there's not enough settings. It's not as configurable as KDE Plasma or as a window manager. So I like to keep things simple. Have you ever heard of that saying, KISS? Keep it simple. Stupid. Sorry about that. So you have all your settings here and your displays. I have two monitors hooked up here. You have your sound settings, your power settings. I turned the screen goes blank and never. Power button turns the system off. Automatic suspend is off. Multitasking. So I have my workspaces set to dynamic, which means there's two there. But if I need more, when I open other apps, it's going to automatically open up more workspaces. And then when I close those apps, it's going to delete it back to two. And I kind of like that option. I like the way it works. And I have this set, multi-monitor, workspaces on all displays. Okay. In appearance, this is where your wallpaper are. We already looked at that. And keyboard. So I like the keyboard. It's really easy to use. If you go to view and custom shortcuts, I put all the key bindings in here that I use in the Awesome Window Manager and Qtile Window Manager. And just in case you haven't been following my channel, the key bindings that I use in the Qtile Window Manager and the Awesome Window Manager are the same because I made them the same. And I got used to all those key bindings. So I put all those key bindings in Gnome, and it's easy. You don't have to go into any configuration file and monkey around in the terminal. You just go in here and do it. So I have all my custom shortcuts in here. You know, Control Super G opens up GIMP. Control Super K opens up Kdenlive. Control Super O opens OBS. Control Super P opens PCman FM. Super L locks my system. Super R opens Romina. Vert Manager. Control Super V opens Vert Manager. And Super Enter opens up Xterm. Now, let's add one. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to make open up Rhythm Box. So we have, what do we have here? I have to be careful with the R's. I don't want to duplicate anything. I don't want to use a key binding that's already used. So Super R opens Romina. And if you don't know what Romina is, it's an app for doing remote desktop into another computer, which I'm going to talk about in a moment. So that's Super R. So I'm going to make Control Super R to open up Rhythm Box, which is the music player. So I'm going to hit the plus sign. And I'm going to type in Rhythm Box. And the command is Rhythm Box. And then I'm going to hit this icon here, set shortcut. And I'm going to type in, I want it to be Control Super Key R. So I'm going to do Control Super Key R. And I'm going to add it. So there it is there, Rhythm Box, Control Super Key R. So let's close it. Let's close it. Let's see if it works. Control Super Key R. There you are. There's Rhythm Box. Now I put another, added another key binding in there to make an app full screen. Would be Control Super Key Spacebar. There you go. And these are just the keys that I use in the Awesome Window Manager and Qtile. So let's close that. Oh yes. So if I do mod key enter, opens up Xterm, Control mod key spacebar, makes it full screen. Okay, and Shift mod key or Shift super key C closes it. So these are the same key bindings that I use in the Awesome Window Manager and Qtile. Now, what I did is I changed the format of the clock. So what I did is I went into settings, click on system, date and time. And is my face going to be in the way? Let's turn off my face for a bit. So what I did was I toggled these on. Oh, and you have to unlock. If you want to use all these, you got to unlock it. So let's click unlock. Let's put my password in. And I toggled all these on. Automatic date and time. And it's already at Toronto, Canada. And I changed this time format to AM PM. And I clicked on show weekday because I don't know what date it is and I need to know it's Saturday. And I toggled on date. I think date was already toggled on, and I toggled on seconds. I like to have seconds in my clock. Okay, so that's what I did there. Let's close it. And another thing I did was I added 2 other time zones. So you click this on, and I add, well, Toronto was already there. I added on Universal Time or Coordinated Universal Time, and I added on London, England. So I have UK time in here. And if you want to add another time zone, it's easy. You just click the plus sign, search for a city. Now I don't know any. Oh, let's say Moscow. Moscow, Russia. Okay. There's a Moscow, United States. I didn't know that. Well, let's do Moscow, Russia. Let's add it. There we are. And Moscow, 7 hours ahead of us. And there you are. You have your times. Now, if you want, you can click on a time. And this is Moscow, Russia, and it's showing you the time is 7:36 p.m. Sunrise is 5:13 a.m. In Moscow, Russia. Sunset is 7:46 p.m. That's how that works. And of course, we have a stopwatch. I really like this. You can start it and stop it. You can clear it. This is really easy to use. You have a timer. Let's do 2 minutes. And it's counting down 2 minutes. These are just some little fun things that come with Gnome. Now, another thing we have here is we have weather. So it shows your little weather here. You can click it on. And right now you can see it's 5 degrees. And you have all your hourly rates. You can go further. So the temperature is at the bottom. So at 5 o'clock today, it's going to be 9 degrees. And you know what? I forgot. My face is gone. So let's bring my face back. I always do this. Whenever I turn off my face, I always forget to turn it back on. I just want you to know it's me. Because I am the Linux Mitch. And we have daily weather here, so you can see the weather for the rest of the week. And if you want, you can add another city. Let's search for, let's do Moscow. So in Russia right now, it's 11 degrees. How about that? And I guess you can only have one up at a time, right? Oh, but it saved it. Let's go back to Toronto. There you go, it's 5 degrees. Now, the only thing I don't like about this weather app is it doesn't give you the winds. So for many, many, many years, I was a jogger and I used to always went outside and jogged. And now because of problems with my back and my knees, I stopped jogging and I just go for walks, fast-paced walking. And because the jogging is too hard on my knees and my back. But you always like to know what the winds are because then you know how to dress, right? So I really do like this weather app, but it doesn't show the winds, and that's the only thing I don't like about it. Now, the weather app in the Cinnamon desktop does show the winds because that's a different weather app. Now, you can download this particular weather app and use it in Cinnamon, but Cinnamon comes with its own weather app, but you also have to download it. It's not there by default. And I think it's a better weather app. Even though I like this one, I think the weather app in the Cinnamon is better. Anyways, let's close that. Now, one thing I want to highlight that's really special about Gnome is it makes it really easy to do remote desktop. So let's say I want somebody to remote into this desktop, or I want to be able to remote into this desktop. What I'm going to do is, well, first of all, I have it already set up to remote into the desktop that's in the living room. So let's do that first. Just show you how it works. So I'm going to open up Ramina and I'm going to connect to the living room. So now I'm in the computer that's in the living room. I have full access to it. Now I'm going to change the display because that has a different monitor and everything looks small. So I'm going to change the display and make it a little larger just so you can see it on the computer. And let's close it. So now I'm logged into the computer that's in the living room. Actually, this is my wife's computer. And these are our two cats. Now, this is Faith and this is Hope. This is the mother, this is the daughter. They're rescue cats. We rescued them in 2016. And this is the same month that actually might even be the same day that we brought them home. We took this picture, so they're older now. This one's a little bit heavier, and this one looks a little more mature. And this is the one that likes to come on camera. If you've been following my videos and watching my videos, sometimes this one comes and sits right in front of the camera while I'm talking and showing you stuff, and I don't bother throwing her down. I just let her stay there. So I have full access to this computer I'm remoted into. I can open up Firefox, and of course, I'm in Firefox that's in there. Now, I don't like this page, but my wife likes this. She likes this MSN news page to come up. She likes to read the news. So this is how her web browser opens up. And I have full access to that computer. Everything is there. I could open up the terminal. Let's open up HTOP. Let's make it full screen. There we are. We're logged into the other computer. It's been up for 2 days. It has 4 processors, 8 gigs of RAM, and right now it's using 992 megabytes. Not bad for Gnome. So now I'm going to close it. Let's close that. And now I'm back at my main computer. So the thing I like about Gnome is it makes it really easy to remote into. And the way you would do that is right click, go into settings. And I like it, the fact that there's 3 ways to get into settings, right? You can click here and go into settings here. You can right click and get into settings. Actually, there's 4 ways. You could go into here, get into settings. That's the 3rd way. Or you could go into the dock, go into here, and get into settings this way. There's 4 ways to get into settings. So let's right click it. Let's go back into settings. So to set up your system, now, when you're remoting, you have the host machine and the guest machine. So when you're logging into another system, like I logged into my wife's computer that's in the living room, I was the guest and she was the host, or her computer was the host machine, right? So the guest machine doesn't have to be running Gnome. The guest machine could be running anything. It could be running the awesome window manager, Qtile window manager, Cinnamon desktop, or any other desktop environment or window manager. The guest machine, the machine that's logging or remoting into, can be running anything. But the machine that is the host that you're logging into, that machine has to be running GNOME. So there might be a way to do it if it's running a window manager or a different type of desktop environment, but with GNOME, it's really easy. So the host machine, the machine you're logging into, has to be running GNOME. And what you do is you go into the system, you go into settings, you go down here into system, and you're going to click on remote desktop. And you're going to click on desktop sharing. You're going to click it on. You're going to click on remote control. You're going to set your port. You're going to set your password. And if you have uncomplicated firewall installed and turned on, you are going to go into Xterm, make it full screen, or you're going to go into your terminal. It might not be Xterm. And you're going to do sudo uncomplicated firewall status. Put your password in, and it's active. And you know what? I should have done verbose. You're going to do verbose, and it's active. So my firewall is turned on. But what I'm going to do is, right now, from another computer, I won't be able to remote into here. Even though I turned on all the settings in Gnome, I won't be able to remote in here because I have to open up my firewall. So what I'm going to do is sudo uncomplicated firewall limit 3389. And now I'm going to go back to verbose, and you can see I've opened up the ports for remoting into. And that's all I have to do. So now from another computer, I can remote into here. So like I said, Gnome makes it really easy to do remote desktop. And when you remote into another computer, you have full control of everything. It's like you're sitting in front of that other computer. You can go to the terminal, you can open up a web browser, you can open up the file manager, you can do whatever you want. And Gnome makes it easier than any other desktop environment. And like I said, only the host machine, the computer you're logging into, needs to be running Gnome. The computer you're using to log into it, it can be running anything. It could be running the Awesome Window Manager, the Qtile Window Manager, the Cinnamon Desktop, XFCE, or any other window manager or desktop environment. It doesn't have to be running Gnome. So I also like the way that Gnome manages my two monitors. It works well. It was easy to set up. I didn't have to fiddle around with it. And I made key bindings so that Control Super Key, that arrow, will move an app from the primary monitor onto my secondary monitor. Control Super Key, that arrow, will move an app from my secondary monitor back onto the primary monitor. And it was easy to set up. It works fantastic. And that's it.